Namaste and welcome to the Curvy Yogini Spotlight. I'm Dana Smith, founder of Yes, Yoga Has Curves, and today we have with us Kacy Pleasant. And Kacy's actually one of the beautiful Curvy Yoginis in the book. Hey, Kacy.
Hi!
So good to see you again. So we're just going to ask a few questions just so that you can inspire some of the other Curvy Yoginis or aspiring Curvy Yoginis out there to take up yoga because it's great. So, Kacy, when
Yes,
did your yoga journey begin?
I started doing yoga after my daughter was born, on and off, and that was in 2003. After my son was born in 2007, I started really getting into it, having a daily or at least every other day practice. And now, if I don't practice every day, it is definitely my drug of choice. My husband will send me to the studio or lay my mat out in the living room to make sure I get my yoga in.
I know that's right. So, what inspired you to start practicing? So, what made you say, okay, I need yoga in my life?
I started practicing as a means to lose weight, and I think a lot of people do that. I had both of my children. I felt really lethargic, and I wanted to do something other than run. And once I started, I found it was so much more than just that physical exercise. I felt liberated. I felt amazing. I felt like I could be productive. I was a better mom when I came home. So it stopped being about the losing weight and the physical fitness. It started being more about how I felt emotionally and how I could deal with issues in my life.
Oh yeah. And, I started yoga when I was pregnant with my daughter, and I started because 9/11 happened, and I lost a dear friend. And then after I had her, it was just all about like losing weight and like dealing with being a first time mom. But then it really at some point I was like, you know what? The weight, if it's gonna come off, it's gonna come off. But I felt so good, and it was so odd
Exactly.
for me at the time. It's like, can I really feel this good by just doing this thing on this mat? So
Exactly.
yeah.
In 2009, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which is a form of irritable bowel disease in the relation to Crohn's. So I had to go on and off medications, and my yoga was always my constant. Doing the twist always felt really good. Sometimes I just went and laid on my mat and took it easy, took child's pose, just did lots and lots of modifications, which is hard for me. I'm type A, I'm a pusher. But having my yoga, I think, has helped healed me and helped get me into remission with my ulcerative colitis for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it is so amazing how yoga is so healing because it causes us to slow down. And we don't know that stress is like the common denominator to like a lot of these issues. And,
Oh yeah,
it's the gateway thing. So by just doing something, and it doesn't have to be standing on your head. So anybody watching, yoga's not putting your leg behind on your head or standing on your head or doing handstands. It's just really about what you need in any given moment. So
exactly.
so tell us, how does yoga help you to love and celebrate your body?
I am one of the few curvy yoginis, I think, here in Charlotte. I'm also a yoga teacher, and I think I help others with some curves get into the practice. I think a lot of times people think of it as a practice for super skinny, white, flexible females, and it's not for that. This is for anyone, anybody. So I know I feel comfortable doing things, and I think I kind of exude that into my classes and invite others to come and try things they might not try. Of course, give modifications when needed, but I think it's just really helpful to see someone else in a quote unquote power position with some curves and who appreciates and celebrates them. I'm super healthy. I just have
Exactly.
an
Exactly.
awesome body.
Right. And it's amazing that we can't really determine how healthy somebody is based on their physical structure. Health comes from within, and some of us we're just meant to have curvier bodies, and that's fine. And yoga is a practice. It's going to keep us healthy. So if there's weight to be lost by doing yoga, we're going to start thinking differently about our health, and we're going to make healthier choices. But we have to love and appreciate where we are if we're going to even make any improvements in our lives. And it's good to have representation. And that's why we're in the book, and that's why Kacy is just displaying her beauty in the book, because these curves don't have bones.
Right.
So what's your favorite asana, Kacy?
I think my favorite is pigeons. I love hip openers. I store a lot of emotional stress and tension in my hips, which I think a lot of women do. But when I get in pigeon towards the end of my practice, I feel a big release. If I'm walking around and have maybe missed a few days, I feel it in my hips. And not only bad stress or trauma, just everyday stress just gunks up there. So pigeon helps me to release all that, take my big, long, deep breaths that I think I definitely need.
Yeah, you're the second yogini that I've interviewed so far that spoke about pigeon. Me and pigeon have a love-hate relationship, and I guess it's because there are so many emotions stored there, and I'm not always willing or ready to like face them, but it's when it happens, it's very cathartic. So it's very good. So
I've cried a pigeon during class before, especially the beginning of my.
I hear that. I hear that a lot. Maybe I don't want to cry in front of people. Maybe I don't want to cry by myself. Who knows? So we know that asana practice and meditation go hand in hand. What does your meditation practice consist of? What does it look like?
Right now, it ebbs and flows, just like my physical practice. Right now, my meditation practice is a little bit separate from my physical practice, and a lot of times I combine them. But right now, I'm using my meditative part at the very beginning of my day when it's quiet. I live in a house filled with noise and dogs and children, so it is quiet, and it's the only time that I can sit and be quiet for, I'm working 20 minutes a day. So right now I'm at about 7 or 8 minutes.
Okay, well, any amount of time meditating is great. And for those watching this, you don't have to meditate for an hour. I get about 20 minutes, 30 minutes in a day, and that sets me right for the rest of the day. So any amount of time that you spend meditating is great, because we go within, we can set our intentions for the day, and we can just, ward stress off at the gate.
Yeah, exactly. I found that when I put it off or waited till later in the day, it was just easy to skip it. Or I was too tired, I was going to do it at night, and then whoops.
Are you still there?
I am, but I lost your beautiful face.
Oh, but we're recording over here, so it's all good.
Still see me?
I still see you.
Oh, okay. I have no idea. I don't see your beautiful face. Okay, well, let's keep going then.
So, there are a lot of women that need to do yoga, and they may not feel that there's proper representation. Again, this is why we're doing the book. What advice would you give to someone that gives you the reason for not practicing yoga? Well, I'm too big. I don't feel comfortable in class. I don't think it's for me. What advice would you give someone, and you knew that they could benefit from practicing?
That's actually come up in a couple of classes and friends that I've met. And one thing I started doing with some women want to do yoga and they couldn't afford a private session because they're expensive. So they have a group that got together and they split the private session, because at the studio I work at, one person is the same price as 5 people. So they split it, and it's in an environment where they feel comfortable, they feel okay to stop and ask questions. I also have another friend, she went to 3 different studios and just decided yoga wasn't for her and she hated it. She did not feel comfortable with any of them. A friend of hers talked her into going one more time to a different studio, different instructor, and she found it and is in love and addicted to yoga and can't stop. So my advice would be to find people that you're comfortable with and not to give up.
Right.
I think there's a space for everyone to be able to practice.
It really is. It really is. And, it really saddens me to hear someone that's tried yoga maybe once or twice and say, well, it's not for me. There are hundreds and hundreds of different styles out there. And I think it's all about the teacher. Just like we can't be friends with everybody, we can find someone that we resonate with, someone that we're matched energetically with to receive a yoga instruction. So for those looking, don't give up. There is a yoga class out there for you because it's so great. So,
Yes.
Kacy, are you involved in any community service efforts, any SEVA efforts?
So I write a blog, and on my blog every month I have a project, and I call it Project 12. So every month I do something different with the number 12. So in January I made 12 blessing bags a week, and in the bag my family and I packed water, granola bars, socks, and it was just a bag to keep in our car to give to the homeless. So anytime we were driving around, we had our Ziploc bag with wet wipes, just anything that's a toothbrush that they could need, and pass it out. So this took flight. People wanted to donate items for my blessing bag, and we ended up having them. I had a friend who had a blessing bag I'd given her, and she was at a stoplight and reached to give it, and the man at the stoplight held up his blessing bag because someone had already given him one.
Oh, wow.
So this month I'm wearing 12 items of clothes all month. I picked 12 items, including shoes and teaching yoga outfits. And I'm doing it this month just to create awareness of this consumerism that has kind of taken a hold of people, Americans. I'm guilty of it, just buying stuff to have stuff when we have what we need. And in other countries, it's just hard to realize that we're so rich.
Right.
And I just think it's really all of this has been brought to my attention, and I just really want to spread awareness to it. So I do that through my blog and through speaking with people.
So Kacy, can you give us your blog address, and then I'll post it when I post the video?
Sure. It's apleasantlife.com.
So it's apleasantlife.com?
Yes.
Awesome. So we're going to post that. That's wonderful. So what inspires you, or who inspires you? Because, yoga opens us up to just seeing things and appreciating things better, just like you're doing your challenge of 12. It just makes us look at life differently, and it makes us open our eyes to inspiration that was always around. So who or what inspires you?
Definitely my first yoga teacher ever, and this was 11 years ago. I think we always fall in love with our first yoga teacher, or our yoga teacher that becomes our teacher. She inspires me. She's 75 and in amazing health. Her spirit just oozes through, and she's just one of those people that you love to love. I've also found a lot of inspiration in myself. I went through a really, really bad depression after my children were born, and I was turning to things that did not help to heal that depression. So I was turning to alcohol and food. And it took my yoga and being on my mat and being present to realize that I'm worth more than that. Not only for my family, but for myself.
That's right. Awesome. And just one more question for you, Kacy, and I thank you so much for your time and your inspirational words for all those Curvy Yoginis out there. Finish this sentence. I love my curves because
they make me sexy.
All right. anything else you want to share? Any other words of wisdom or inspiration you want to share with our audience?
Just definitely, if you haven't tried yoga, try it. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. Try it again. And just be happy and share this love and light of the world.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kacy. It has been a joy. Bless you. Namaste. And for everyone watching, Kacy is inspirational. Visit her at itsapleasantlife.com. Check us out on Facebook, Yes Yoga Has Curves, and online, YesYogaHasCurves.com. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.
Namaste, Dana.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.